This video will be a brief introduction to chemistry, and we will be talking about matter, atoms, and elements. So, what is chemistry? Chemistry is essentially the study of matter. What is matter composed of? How does matter interact with other matter? How does matter change? So, to understand chemistry, we need to understand what matter is. So, what is matter, right? So, matter is anything physical that takes up space. So, it could be a solid, a liquid, or gas. So, really, anything that is physical, so let's say a book, right, or the air around you, that is made up of matter. So, this brings up the question, what is matter made up of, right? So, all matter is made up of atoms. And atoms are extremely small particles that consist of protons, neutrons, and electrons. The red circles that I have here are protons. These have a positive charge and they weigh 1 atomic mass unit. The gray circles I have here are neutrons. They have a neutral charge and they weigh 1 atomic mass unit. The blue circles, electrons, have a negative charge. They weigh nearly 0 atomic mass units. Atoms will generally contain the same number of protons as electrons because they need to have a balanced charge. You can't have one extra proton than an electron because then the atom in general will be positively charged, which will make it unstable. The center of the atom is called the nucleus. It is made up of protons and neutrons. It's the circle in the center. And the electrons orbit the nucleus in electron shells, these rings that we have around the nucleus. Now we'll talk about elements. So, in essence, different atoms contain different amounts of protons, right? A substance composed of similar atoms, atoms with the same number of protons, is called an element. So, for example, the substance made of atoms that contain 7 protons is known as nitrogen. Elements cannot be broken down into simpler substances, so you can't break down nitrogen into a smaller substance. It will just remain as nitrogen. So, now we'll talk about the periodic table. This is how you're going to identify elements, and it's going to give you information on these elements. So for example, if I wanted to figure out information about lithium, I would go over to the top right here, lithium, and look at the information it provides me. To get information from the periodic table, you first need to know how to actually read it though. So this is how to read the periodic table. So there's 2 main numbers that you really need to worry about right now. The rest we will cover later on in the course. So the first number is the atomic number. This is in the top right corner, the 7 over here. It's how many protons there are in an atom. The atomic number is incredibly important because, as we've said before, different elements have different numbers of protons. If this number were an 8, for example, it wouldn't be nitrogen anymore, it would be oxygen. The second number that's super important to know is the atomic weight. So this is the top left. It's the average weight of the atom in atomic mass units. So remember, protons and neutrons are 1 atomic mass unit, while electrons are essentially 0 atomic mass units. Since nitrogen has 7 protons and the atomic weight is 14 atomic mass units, nitrogen will generally have 7 neutrons. In the next video, we'll do a deeper dive into electrons and valence electron shells.